Thalente Mbatha, South Africa's most successful soccer writer.
You Pirates fans were looking for Rulani to come. You guys are unrealistic. Rulani Mokoena, Pirates.
3 times winner of Premiership Soccer Writer of the Year and 3 times winner of the Sports Writer of the Year. Every day he takes you inside SA Soccer, exclusive to omniaudio.africa. Weekdays, 9:30 a.m.
Break it down. Africa's premier sports destination.
Good morning on this beautiful, wet and cold Monday in Johannesburg. It's raining most parts of the country. I was traveling actually this morning, and yeah, it's rainy. Please be careful out there. Be safe, because yeah, you know how accidents happen during this kind of weather. Talking of accidents, there was a huge one that happened out in the DRC. It's a result I don't think anyone would have predicted. Orlando Pirates suffered a 3-0 defeat to St. Eloi Lupopo. I'm shocked actually. Orlando Pirates, 10 games unbeaten. In fact, a winning run of 10 games. They go into this match with their players fresh from helping us, South Africa, Bafana, qualify for the FIFA World Cup. Ozwe Napoles scores. Evidence Mahoba scores for Bafana, Thalente Mbatha scores for Bafana. I think just about every South African, particularly the Buccaneers fans, had anticipated that their team will go there and get a good result. And a good result, I mean a win. I did not necessarily think they will win easily, but I honestly expected them to win. St. Eloi Lupopo is not a great team out in the DRC. You know of TP Mazembe and AS Vita Club. So when those teams did not qualify, this St. Eloi Lupopo made it. And when Pirates drew them, I thought, I was actually thinking El Merreigh, who St. Lupopo knocked out, would be a tougher opposition for Pirates. So when they got this one, I thought, no, the Buccaneers should do well. But no, Coach Abdeslam Ouaddou and his boys got smashed 3-0. Lupopo scored very early on, and then scored late on 70 minutes, and then they scored a third towards the end, 90th minute. Now, this is information we are getting from that side. That's what they're saying. One of the things that I find a little disappointing is that I've looked around, I don't know if you saw anything, but there hasn't really been anything from Pirates about just how the match went, because here's why I'm saying this. I've covered African football for years and years, and one of the things that I know happens on the continent particularly is I don't want to say cheating, but there's always this, the officials often favor the local teams. And in the DRC, I went there many years ago with Black Leopards. I remember, I think they were playing Vita Club, and a blatant handball not given for Black Leopards. There was a goal that you feel should not have been, that was given to the opposition. So it would be very, very interesting to see if Pirates really lost, fairly and squarely. Now, what does that mean? One of the shock for a lot of people would be Coach Ouaddou coached in the DRC, and there was this belief that because he knows the conditions there, they would do well. One of the things I know is that the match was played on an artificial pitch, and a lot of South African clubs often struggle because we don't have that here. And there's never really time for them, it seems, to get ready on that kind of surface so that when they go there, they will be able to, deal with the conditions. You'll remember just how Bafana struggled against Rwanda in the first round match of the World Cup qualifiers when they beat us 2-0 on an artificial pitch, where the pitch was also waterlogged, and Bafana just did not know how to deal with it because they had not prepared themselves for that. So that's the shock. That's the big, for me, that's the big news from the weekend. Orlando Pirates losing 3-0. This is a club that was in the semi-final last year. You'll remember Pyramids FC of Nigeria, of Egypt, knocking them out in the semis, Pirates having had a fantastic show. And expectations from a lot of us were that this year, Pirates will go and shine. But can they? Can they still do that? Football is very fickle. 3-0 looks like a score. I read somewhere somebody even saying an unassailable 3-0 lead, but that's not true. Pirates still have to host, and they have it in them. I believe Pirates are still a strong team. Lupopo is not one of the greatest. They took their chances clearly, and as I say, once we've seen the videos, if we will be able to, and once Pirates come and tell us exactly what happened, we will then, you sit and say, okay, they lost, they scored, and the goals were all fair. Therefore, that's Pirates up to them now to turn out. Look, it's still 3-0, no matter whether the goals were fair or unfair or whatever happened. Pirates still have to come to Orlando Stadium and turn things around. Can they do it? They have the ability. They need to believe, for starters. I saw Ozzy Napoles did not start. Came on as a sub. Can he start? Can he do what he did for Bafana against Rwanda? I think Orlando Pirates are going to, this is the big test. Everybody has been saying, if you listen to our show at the start, there's this clip of me, almost ridiculing you Pirates fans for thinking Rulani would come. You are probably now thinking, had Rulani been there, he probably knows continental football better. But I think Coach Abdeslam Ouaddou has shown us since he took over just how good a coach he is. And this is his big test. If Pirates fail to reach the group stages, no matter what they achieve domestically, I think even if they were to win the league championship, this would be a season that would be seen as Pirates have failed, because a club as big as them, a club that reached the semi-finals last season, cannot be knocked out, not in the preliminary round. We had that, if you remember, when they lost to Jwaneng Galaxy about 3 seasons ago in the preliminaries, and that was a scandal for a club as big as Orlando Pirates. You'll remember it's been 30 years since they won. Is it 30? 1995 years. Since they won the Champions Cup back then, the predecessor of the Champions League. They need to be African champions again, and they've always said you cannot have Sundowns becoming getting a second star ahead of Orlando Pirates, and this was a season where everyone was thinking, this is it. They've signed big players. They've strengthened their squad. We've seen them in the domestic championship doing very well. As we said, Pirates had gone 10 matches without winning, without losing. And for them to then lose the way they did, it's that. But yeah, we will get in contact with the Buccaneers. They'll be preparing for the second leg, and we will then get to hear just what is it that happened out in the DRC. It's sad. It's a black day, as I say, but it's not the end. Pirates have it in them, and should they turn things around, they need to win 3-0 here at home, take the match to penalties, or better still, win 4-0 or even more, and then they can then go into the group stages. And if they do that, then the rest of the continent are going to look up and say, you go into the group stages as one of the favorites, because everybody will say, this team, if they can move from being 3-0 down to winning, they are clearly tough customers. So let's see how it goes. It's the Buccaneers, as we say, they lost 3-0 to Saint Eloi Lupopo. Can they turn it around? Now, a team that needs no turning things around is the Brazilians, finalists last year, losing finalists. They too fell to Pyramids, shockingly, because they went into that match as huge favorites. Very experienced against a team playing in continental, in Champions League for the first time. Sundowns lost. They were coached by a coach who had been in the final the previous seasons, Miguel Cardoso, and all expectations were they will win, but they did not. That's water under the bridge. Sundowns get into the Champions League, their first match, and they just tore Remo Stars apart. They scored 5-1. They won that match 5-1. Now, what's more special about this victory is the fact that since continental football, since we went back into continental football, Sundowns had never, ever won a Champions League match in Nigeria. So they went there, and some trepidation there and thereabouts. You're going to try and do something you had never done. And if you're going to do that, do it in a special way. And they really did. But one of the things that surprised me was the turnout. Prior to the match, there'd been talk from Nigeria that Remo Stars are so hell-bent on winning this match that they are going to open the stadium for free. Fans were going to come in for free. And when that gets said, I expected a packed stadium. But no, it was like just, sparsely populated arena. Again, Sundowns played just like Orlando Pirates on artificial pitch. So that's a challenge because, as I said, South African teams just do not train there. But Sundowns looked very comfortable and they knocked the ball about. You could see they were just way superior to Remo Stars, and the way they played, knocking the ball the Sundowns way, was very beautiful to see. And the fact that they scored all those 5 goals from different players just talks to the depth that Miguel Cardoso has at his disposal, and expectations surely are that Sundowns can now go all the way. They have to. They've been qualifying for the group stages. That's common. That's taken for granted that Sundowns will do that. Tashrik Matthews scored. Peter Shalulile keeps extending his goal tally as the best highest scorer in South African football. Resinho scored his first, and then Arthur Sales also got his name on the pitch. And Young Katlehon Zabeleng comes off the pitch, and he too scores the goal. So 5 years they conceded 1, and typically, if you're winning those kind of matches, you try to not concede. Ronwen Williams would have been a little disappointed the way he was beaten at his knee. It was at the post there, but 5-1 is a great result, and I can bet you Sundowns are through to the next group stage. There's just no way Remo Stars are going to come back from this one. Now, what do they do for the second leg? Do they rest? Do they play others? I think he should. He should let other players, just give them a chance, and let's see how it goes. This is what Coach Miguel Cardoso had to say after that match.
And that we understand that this is the first match. Of course, there's a big difference on the score, but we respect football, and to respect football is to go on the second match with approach as serious as possible, because also we have responsibility, and the match and the qualifying round is not finished. And for sure, Mamelodi Sundowns will be as serious on the second match as we were today. So congratulations to my players for the work they did, for the commitment they had. Even at halftime, we spoke a lot about the energy that was needed to bring on second half, even being ahead by 2. Well, and I think the message entered their heads, and then they had the commitment, the heart, enough to fight until the last to make it the score as big as possible. Let's travel home, rest as much as possible. It was not easy to come here, but I think we did it the right way. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, look, I agree with Miguel Cardoso. You see, that kind of attitude is an attitude of champions. You smashed your opposition 5-1, but you are not looking down on them, and you are not taking things for granted that it's all done. That's what makes, I think, Mamelodi Sundowns very different when it comes to continental football. It's a culture that's been inculcated way back by Coach Pitso Mosimane that we go out there, we play. We do not disrespect anybody. We smash them if we can. And even when we go into the next round, we go and do that. I know he is likely going to rest a few players for this one. But you are going to see even those that come in, given the competition that's there at Sundowns, those that come in are going to want to show the coach that next time use me first instead of this one. So it will be an opportunity for other players to lift their hands and say, Coach, we want to be part of this continental campaign. So brace yourself. Sundowns will be hosting. I bet they will do what Remo had promised. They are likely to open the field stadiums for free if you're wearing your yellow Sundowns jerseys, and pack that stadium. Let the players know that you are backing them even this early, because once you do that, they get confident. And it's, as South Africans, we want our teams to be doing well on the continent, and Sundowns have shown on a weekend where it was pretty bleak. I spoke about Orlando Pirates losing 3-0. In the CAF Confederations Cup, we are also represented by 2 teams, and both of them, well, it's it's results that, it's iffish results. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Stellenbosch FC semi-finalists in the previous round went to 14th de Agosto of Equatorial Guinea and played a goalless draw. In a look ahead to this match, myself and comrade David Lake, our African football expert, we thought they have a chance to win. We thought of all the teams, actually, we thought they had the easiest. But they got a goalless draw. Goalless draws are very tricky, especially when you're going away. If you play the first leg away, because you haven't scored in the opposition's ground. Therefore, if they score on yours, they are at an advantage. If Augusto score one, Stellis have to score twice because they have to win 2-1, or else 1-1 means they will go through, the opposition goes through on goal difference, so on the goal scored away. So that's a challenge that Stellis have. And the bigger challenge for Stellis again is they are not going to be able to use the Danny Craven Stadium, which is up for renovation for the Rugby Sevens coming up. So where do they take their matches? You'll remember last year they moved around. They played in Durban. At one stage they were playing in Pretoria as well. It's a sad state of affairs, and let's see how they do it. But I believe Coach Steve Barker, the experience from last year, will stand them in good stead, and they should get into the group stage. I think that's the minimum, the bare minimum. Besides the money that you make there, it's just the competition. If you lose out in the preliminaries, you are a nobody. Stellis first season smashed it, got into the semi-finals. They'll want to do better, surely. So let's hope they do that. They're hosting this weekend, goalless. They need to come back. And then there's Amakosi. Kaizer Chiefs went to the DRC just like Pirates. They came unstuck there. Goalless draw. It's a result that, as I said, with Stellis, Chiefs will probably not be happy about. My colleague, my producer, Mduduzi Zibego, when we spoke last week, he felt that Chiefs do not have a chance. He didn't really rate their chances because he just doesn't feel Chiefs have, the strength, really, the attacking prowess to win on continental soil. And this probably proves it. The fact that we all thought Coach Ben Khalil Youssef and Cedric Kasi now being confirmed as permanent coaches until the end of the season could do things better, but they didn't. They played goalless. It's pressure. If you are free to come in here, we spoke a little bit about Chiefs last time. The fact that when Nabi left, Chiefs are a big club. For me, I'm very disappointed that they have not gone and said, you need to be brave. Yes, you think continuity. Chiefs are the kind of club that I would have thought you lose a coach, you decide we want to do well. They've been saying this is the season they want to do well. Get a proper coach. Don't be afraid to go around. I know there are coaches all over the world that they could have got. Chiefs for years and years have become this club that seems to not want to spend to be successful. We live in times where it's very clear. You see it the world over. The big clubs, the clubs that are willing to spend, are clubs that win. Chiefs went into this match just a few days after their chairman, Kaizer Mdaung, turned 81. They always make a big deal of Brake's birthday, but they didn't, give him a birthday gift worthy of Brake, did they?
Projects, like I said last time, my biggest concern about Kaizer Chiefs is that they struggle with scoring goals. We know they struggle with scoring goals, and it's also worrying because they've just signed Khanyisa Mayo and they have Flavio da Silva, but it seems both of them are also struggling to change the situation of not scoring goals. Or maybe it's a question of they don't have the right supply from the players, that number 10 and the players playing number 8 in their wings. They're not getting enough supply, and it would have been nice to at least gift the chairman with a win away from home all the way in DRC to say, the chairman, we did it for you, given everything that is done for the team. But Kaizer Chiefs is really struggling with strikers. I think they're more focused on the wrong departments. They're signing wings. They're trying to sign more central midfields, whereas they should be investing more in their attack, because clearly the people that they have right now don't know how to score goals.
Yeah, and I think for me, sadly, Kaizer Chiefs from when we were young, when Chiefs was formed from the Chiefs have always, their success has always been Chiefs have great goal scorers over the years. They had Max Maponyane. I mean, I'm even starting here. They had the great Sugar Mugoyo way back in the years from Zimbabwe. I mean, my favorite has always been the great Moran Samora Kulu, who scored goals for days. We called him Mr. Ellis Park because he played at Ellis Park and he just never missed. Continuously, Chiefs have your Shane McGregor, your Fanny Madida. But in the PSL era, they had Collins Mbesuma, they had Musona. But lately, they've just, people speak about Bernard Parker, but he was okay. But he scored goals. He won the top goal scorer award. This recent Chiefs team is just not doing that. And that's very sad because, as we've always said, the biggest supported club in the country, arguably one of the most successful over the years, is just slowly but surely disappearing and playing second fiddle to even smaller clubs that over the years you would never have thought would beat Kaizer Chiefs. So they played a goalless draw. And you remember we spoke prior to this match that they actually just snuck into this round. So 0-0, they're coming home. Typical, similar with Stellis, there's an opportunity. You're at home, you've got your fans. And what I like, though, is they're playing this match at Dobsonville Stadium. So if those 15, 20,000 fans who always go to the FNB on Wednesdays and the stadium looks empty, if they all go to Dobsonville Stadium, Chiefs are going to be packed. Their opposition will feel, we are playing away, and that will help. But I don't know if they have it in them to make a turn. Can they turn this tie around, do you think?
Well, because of the 12th man, playing from home and having one of the biggest following in the country, that does count for something for them, Kaizer Chiefs. I think when they play back at home, especially in Dobsonville, they're going to win. Yeah. They have to win this one. They desperately need to win this one. They owe their fans something. And I'm also still worried why they're not playing their new players.
Yeah,
like they've signed players to keep them on the bench and they're still not playing them. We spoke about it last week where I mentioned that clearly the current players that they have don't offer much to the club. So they went and signed the likes of Maboe, Velebai, Lukman, and all of Batman. All of those guys are ready to play.
Yes, yeah,
the situation with Batman has been resolved, so he's ready to play, but they're still not playing him. I think these two coaches are Ben Yusuf Khalil and Cedric Kaiser. I don't think they're going to take the team anywhere. I don't think they're going to do much. They're just going to struggle like Nabi did, because a good coach would definitely be playing new players, especially Maboe, who's played at that level, who understands what it's like to compete at that level. So we really hope they win, because like I said last week, Kaizer Chiefs playing in continental football makes for interesting games because they have a big following. It shows the whole of Africa what we're capable of as South Africans in terms of supporting our teams. But if they do win, it's probably going to be a 1-0.
Yeah, let's hope so. This is what Coach Ben Khalil Yusuf said actually after that match.
Playing long ball like them, because it's difficult to manage with this kind of pitch. I think the plan of the game, it was how we can manage the first 45 minutes. First, we don't concede. Then we know that the opponent team, they will take a lot of risk. They will try to press higher. They will leave us a lot of space. Then we will introduce our Shabalala, Ashley and Duba to give us the speed and the solution in the deep. And I think in the first half we got two opportunities to score. We was unlucky. One of them crossbar of Mayo. And the second in the 88th minute, I think, good combination between Shabalala and Vilakazi. And then Shabalala give for Ashley. He was unlucky, even it was empty goal. He was unlucky, the ball was out. But the plan of the game, it was, I think, we succeed in the plan of the game. How we managed the first 35 minutes. And we know that in the second half we will find a lot of space, and we got two opportunities to the second half to score, but we was unlucky to score. Now it's finished this first first game. We have another game. Also, I think it will be tough for us. It will be difficult. Like the team the Simba team is good team. He show us a lot of quality today. It's physical team. It's not technical team. It's physical, lot of physics. They're searching always for the challenge, long ball and challenge. Now we have also Soweleri game in Wednesday. We have to prepare it, and we'll have time to analyze again this game and to prepare our team for the next game. our target is clear to be first in the group stage, then to manage game per game, and we try to do our best to make our fans happy about the situation.
Yeah, there's one of the things I find very strange about football and football coaches and just football in general. When a player hits the bar, a lot of people will say, oh, he was unlucky. For me, you did not hit the target. The purpose of the game is to put it in between those posts, not to hit those posts, unless, you are, who was that player who was very good? I remember watching a video of, was it Ronaldinho, who was just showing off hitting the bar more than once. That's practice, that's playing off. But in a match, it has to go in between those. So I hear Khalil speaking about Mayo hitting the bar, and Mayo was unfortunate. He speaks about Dupré being unlucky, missing the open goal. That's not unlucky. You missed a chance to win a match, and that needs to be fixed. So Kaizer Chiefs, yes, they've got the Siwelele game. Use that as practice, but you also need the points in the domestic league because the season is going, and Chiefs wanted to make at least the top 4. Can they still do it? We'll see. So yeah, it's been, besides Mamelodi Sundowns, we would have had a proper bleak continental weekend. Pirates getting smashed 3-0. Mdu, your team. I know I didn't laugh at you because I'm a nice guy. I'm a South African and I want our country's teams to all do well, but you must have been very disappointed that your team did not win. They got smashed.
Projects, for me, what's more disappointing is Coach Ouaddou continues to experiment in crucial games. I think any CAF game is a crucial game for a team like Orlando Pirates because we've already set a standard. We reached the semi-finals last season. So most teams, when they play against Orlando Pirates right now, it's always a thing of, okay, we're either going to draw or we're going to lose. Not we going there for a win. So I'd like to believe that even El Saint Lupopo, they themselves were preparing for a draw, only for them to become victorious. But it was disappointing to see, to learn that Thalente Mbatha was on the bench. We're talking about a player that scored an important goal for Bafana Bafana. This guy is in good spirits. He's motivated, playing at a big stage like that and helping the country qualify for the World Cup. He's on the bench. He decides to start Nemdajela. Nemdajela's been playing well, but also it's also immature to just introduce him just like that and make him a starter for the team, whereas he's never played at that level before. This guy comes from Marumo Gallants. He was good at Marumo Gallants, but Marumo Gallants, Orlando Pirates, two different teams, right? So I think he was supposed to play Thalente Mbatha because at this point I believe Thalente Mbatha is an important player for Orlando Pirates. He scores important goals. And I think he's our lucky charm sometimes. Yeah. Just his presence being there, the team wins. I remember the first 2 games of the season, he was on the bench. And then ever since he came on, Orlando Pirates has never lost a match. Yeah. So you need a player like that because he just has a positive aura around him, even though he doesn't do well during the game. But just his presence on the pitch is needed because most of these players then feed off his energy and then it makes it easy for the team to win. I think somehow, maybe Coach Ouaddou just needs to sit down with his technical team and revisit the previous wins, Orlando Pirates, and see what Coach Riveiro did right. And all he needs to do is to better that, not change it completely. Because right now, he's implemented a lot of changes. Mbogazi has been playing well with CM, but he opted to start with CBC. Mbule has been doing well coming off the bench, but he decided to start him yesterday. I think this is also, it speaks to how important a player Relebohile Mofokeng is for Orlando Pirates. He's absent, the team starts losing.
You think so? But I mean, I would concur a little, especially with going with players who are on a roll. Ozonapolis, I saw that he didn't start. He is a guy who was the star for Bafana Bafana. It's life. Hey, I'm a runner, and I know, when I'm on a roll and I'm winning races, I just don't stop. You keep going because the confidence is there. And I'm just thinking, as you're saying, a Thalente Mbatha, you come in, you are on a high, having done so well for the national team. Even the continent, the opposition themselves, they've seen South Africa qualify and they're thinking, ooh, what do we do? There's Thalente Mbatha, there's Ouaddou. And then the match starts and the guys are not there. And suddenly the opposition has some confidence to say, oh, we can beat these guys. But yeah, look, it's that you speak about that he needs to sit down with his technical team. I think one of the things that worries me about South African football in general is that I get this feeling often that the assistant coaches, some of them, we used to call them ball boys. And sometimes I wonder if they've gone back to that, because I sometimes also think you watch a match and you say, oh, this is a coach's decision, but didn't the assistant, inform this guy? I mean, we'll go back to, what used to happen in the past. Our colleague here, Tso Vilagasi, who top player for Pirates in the past. Tso was known as a BMT player. You know that I'm going to play a top match. It's the derby. I have to play Tso. So he's limping a little. No, we get him in because he has that thing about him. And as you say, perhaps they should have used Thalente Mbatha. But we said it earlier on, there's 90 more minutes. If Lupopo can score 3, surely Pirates can score 3, if not more. So yeah, we are going into that weekend, second leg of the continental matches, and all our 4 teams are playing at home. Let's go there, support them, fill up the stadiums, and let's see how they do. We also had some league matches this weekend. I was at Magesi and TS Galaxy in Seshego Stadium on Saturday evening, and Magesi FC won 2-1. They came from behind. First half, it looked like there's just not going to be goals, although they, attacked. Just game played at a very frenetic pace. No one really seeming settled to say, oh, this is what we want to do. But at the end, Galaxy scored first from a free kick, and then Magesi got 2 quick goals to win that match 2-1. So they move up. John Maduga very excited that they at least moved away from the bottom of the table. And then Athazwani beating Gavin Hunt 2-1 in the Durban Derby. Amazulu winning, not 2-1, 1-0. Amazulu beating Durban City. And then Marumo Gallants continue to do well, beating Chipa United 2-1. So yeah, that's the weekend that was. As we say, commiserations to Orlando Pirates. But in the Ghost, in the Buccaneers, we as South Africans trust, and we believe they'll come back. Kaizer Chiefs, you are at Dobsonville. Guys, the stadium is just a stone's throw away. Fill that stadium up. Help Amakosi to beat Simba so they go into the group stages. Stellis, we don't know where they'll play, but wherever they're playing, the hope is that the crowd will be there to cheer them on. Steve Barker and his team need to get into the group stages. And then there's a party in Attridgeville, or is it going to be Loftus? I'm sure they'll play at Attridgeville. Mamelodi Sundowns, they've won 5. Go and score 5 more. Let's just, send a warning to everybody else that we mean business yet again. So yeah, that's how the weekend was. Let's look ahead to the upcoming one. As I said, second leg matches of the Continental Championship, and there's a bit of some midweek matches. You had Chiefs are playing Siwelele on Wednesday at the FNB. I'll probably be there. So that's the show with me, Bra Jakes, inside SA Soccer here on Omni Audio.